how to even introduce this one. Okay. So Trump woke up early this morning, upset about an exchange he had with Kaitlan Collins. I'll show you. I don't even know if it's the one he was referring to, but an interaction with her. We'll talk about the big award that he got and whether it's significant or not. And then a bunch of other aspects, including some insider information about Trump's reaction to all of the cognitive questions about him. He is not happy.
I'm not cognitively.
And he says, he sits down with his staff. He says, why is everyone saying that my brain's kaput? Why are they saying that? Why are they saying my noggin doesn't have a functioning brain inside of it? There it is. That's like the type of way that my parents would use it. and he's thinking, Doc, let me identify zebra, giraffe again, and then we'll prove them wrong this time if we can do person, man, etc.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
There we go. So here is first Kaitlan Collins reporting on an exchange she had with him about this Peace Prize, and then we'll look at Trump posting about Kaitlan Collins.
I care about all the people that are dying.
Now, the boat strike that killed survivors in the Caribbean came up during that same cabinet meeting. As the administration has pledged to not stop these strikes, they say they're going to continue to carry them out. In total, after all these strikes are put together, 87 people have been killed in what the president himself has described as a war. It's a war that Congress has not declared, and it is using military force that Congress has not authorized. I asked the president today on the red carpet about these strikes and that award and the contrast that is created here.
So that is an interesting thing at a Peace Prize event. Now, I keep wording it that way because I wanted it to be a surprise, but then she spoiled it. Guys, he got the Peace Prize. The FIFA Peace Prize. And y'all go, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's their annual prize they give out starting in 2025. It's annual. And they did it to make him feel good because he really wants a Nobel Peace Prize, but instead he got a FIFA, as in soccer, right? Or football, as I should probably pronounce it. And Trump also has some thoughts on that I'll show you. But it's an interesting question from her that she's about to ask him, which is, hey, is it a little bit weird to be getting the Peace Prize, like, as boats are blowing up illegally? Is that like a little bit of a weird contrast? Peace, a little bit weird. War crimes, peace. The admiral admitting in talks with whoever, congressional people or something, that I think the boat might not have even been going to the United States, the one we did the double tap on, war crime, from what we know. That's a weird contradiction, no? So that's what she's asking. Great question.
You're expected to get the FIFA Peace Prize, Mr. President. What would you say to people who say that prize might conflict with your pledge to strike Venezuela?
Well, I think the Peace Prize, I settled 8 wars. I don't know that I'm getting it. I haven't been officially noticed. I've been hearing about a Peace Prize, and I'm here to represent our country in a different sense. But I can tell you I did settle 8 wars, and we have...
He did not, by the way. I did a little thought experiment. I'll probably share it with you at some point, but where I crafted, if we use Trump's standard for when he ends a war, which can be as much as 2 countries were engaged in a dispute over a border, no shots were fired, and they went, hey, we'll catch you later. Like, we're still going to get you, but we'll catch you later. Like that, it can literally be, there's like some dispute, doesn't really get solved, but they kind of stop fighting for a second, or they stop escalatory rhetoric for, like, it could be, I'm being a little dramatic, but if we use that standard that he uses to say a war was ended, then there's this long laundry list of similar achievements by Trump's standard that you could put in Biden's column. Except Biden didn't say he ended a war when he just maybe or maybe not played any role, not the correct grammar I know, in some reduction of tension. And then there's other bigger accomplishments, of course, but the list that he makes is very much made up.
A 9th coming, but which nobody's ever done before. But I want to really save lives. I don't need prizes. I need to save lives, and we're saving a lot of lives. I've saved millions and millions of lives, and that's really what I want to do. And I also want to run a great country. And the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. And 1 year ago it was dead. We had a dead country.
So he kept saying on this red carpet thing, even though he knew he was there to get a fake prize that was made for him, he kept going, I mean, I don't even know. Do you think I'm going to win? Oh, me? Oh my gosh. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Mr. President, have you been told that you are going to receive the inaugural Peace Prize today?
I have not been told. There's a rumor about it, but I have not been told. That would be a great honor, and I'm a big fan of Johnny, as you know.
Are you hoping to receive that?
Excuse me?
Are you hoping to receive the Peace Prize?
Well, I don't like to say hope, but it would be a great honor.
Just a huge honor. A really, really big honor. While I show you this next thing from him, please do, if you appreciate the show, click the subscribe button. Jade made this graphic for the last week, right? The last 7 days. 60.5% of our audience that watched the show in the last week was not subscribed. So just by clicking that button, it's free. And we try to do, like today, we'll probably do 2.5 hours of just free content in a day. And all we ask is that you subscribe to show that you're tuned in and pushing the word out. So then Trump woke up, not on that topic, but just thinking about Kaitlan Collins, and posted Kaitlan Collins, spelled her name wrong, I think. Maybe not. I think. A fake news CNN, always stupid and nasty, asked me why the new ballroom was costing more money than originally thought 1 year ago. I said because it is inside of the White House reporting is he's obsessed with his ballroom. Obsessed. I said because it's going to be double the size. We don't want that. And the quality of... Okay. We don't have to... She's so nasty because she asked why is it costing more money? And I said because we're making it 100 times the size of the White House or whatever. That's not an accurate stat. But then you have reporting on this FIFA prize, and you could hear a producer or a guest or something while CNN was reporting on this couldn't hold in their laughter about this concept.
Okay, we're going to continue to monitor this ceremony at the Kennedy Center. And let me just explain what just happened. What just happened was that the president of FIFA gave the president of the United States the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. Now, it was only created a few weeks ago after President Trump didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. And here's the way FIFA explains what this prize.
So the FIFA president is trying to kiss up to Trump, and so he created this.
Please.
And I'll show you here in a second as the clip is playing what that looked like.
Please welcome the very first winner of the FIFA Peace Prize, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Please.
So you had different reactions, including Tim Miller saying, wow, I can't believe it, but I've just been informed that I'll be receiving the Bulwark, which is his outlet, Peace Prize. It's an annual award that was started last month. What an honor. We have saved millions of lives. I saw people saying, I am getting the Burger King Peace Prize or something like that. And then you had the FIFA president as they were drawing for the World Cup draw thing, whatever they're doing there. He wanted Trump to make sure that he, quote unquote, mingles the balls.
Of course. So let's start with the draw. I will just show you how it works. I've done a few of them. Don't be scared, right? So you have to basically mingle the balls a little bit.
Yeah.
You can.
He's done it a few times. He'll show you how. Mingle the balls a little bit. And just sort of see how it feels. And then you have Trump saying this.
When you look at what has happened to football in the United States, is again soccer in the United States. We seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? I mean, this is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for the NFL stuff.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. It is really football. But
so almost every single thing Trump says, I disagree with, or is a lie. I can unequivocally say here, he's correct. And it pains me to say he's correct. That's a thought we all had when we started Pop Warner in like 5th grade or whatever, 3rd grade, how young? I think I was a fetus maybe when I started. Football, just from the standpoint of being a jock, you know, was kind of something I wanted to start early. And so that's a thought we all had very early in life, which was, that's kind of weird. Football, a lot of foots. feet doing things in the soccer, but then the football is less feet oriented, except for Audrey, the Dallas Cowboys kicker.
Aubrey,
Dallas Cowboys kicker, best kicker ever. Just kicked like his third 60-plus yard field goal. Cool, told you, jock. So here we go. Fox was just really, really excited for Trump, and one of the hosts deflated. I don't even think this was a left-wing host. I think it was one of the conservative hosts. Like, what?
The Peace Prize from FIFA, it didn't go to like Greta Thunberg or some silly little peace
because
activist.
It was created for the president. That's
so,
what Johnny Infantino.
What you got? What's your beef with this?
I'm saying there were
what's
no other
problem?
candidates.
So
it wasn't like
what's your point?
Beat out other people.
Do you wish that it went to Amnesty International or to Greenpeace?
Yes. I don't understand why FIFA needs a peace award.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Because they're kissing his butt.
Yes.
Correct.
He's hosting the game.
Right.
What is FIFA? Well, I missed when FIFA got in the business of peace in general. Have you seen some of those football soccer games? They should really call it football. People get really angry. They fight each other sometimes, the fans. I don't know if they're the peace people. Okay, so Trump's upset about Kaitlan Collins. He's also upset behind the scenes, reportedly, about all the reporting about, quote unquote, he describes it as offending news. Or something. Maybe I misread that. Trump will fixate on the offending news outlet or coverage for several days. And what he's really mad about is that people are pointing out that he's falling asleep in the middle of cabinet meetings and is just looking a lot more sleepy. And that was his term for Sleepy Joe. Quote, he's sensitive to being compared, even if not explicitly, to Sleepy Joe, especially if it's coming from a reporter he already hates. Press coverage of his health angers him more than almost any other issue other than Jeffrey Epstein. So that means we need to talk a little bit more about the health and a little bit more about Epstein, which, by the way, what happened to the files? What happened with that? Who knows? But he hates being compared to Joe Biden, which is interesting because he doesn't understand. While it's showing up very differently, both of them are older, and so we're our president, which does a number on your aging, and so maybe he has more to talk with Joe about than he thought. And of course, I'll give the disclaimer for some of our viewers who think they know better than I do what I'm saying. Of course, a brain that could be having some effects of aging in a body of a person who has very dangerous views is more frightening than that of someone who doesn't. And Biden's showed up in a more typical sleepy way, grandpa way, with love. Trump shows up in that now, apparently. He's fallen asleep. Definitely he's not able to like speak as articulately even when he never really did, but definitely he was better at speaking a decade ago, and that's happening. But it shows up differently, so people don't perceive it the same. He's kind of, even though he's literally falling asleep, then separately he'll be pretty bombastic, but in a deranging way, and so that's sort of some of the context. But because he name-checked Biden did just speak at an LGBTQ rights forum and had a good message.
And so you've heard me say before that when I was growing up, whenever something bad happened, I used to be a stutterer and people made a lot of fun of you, a lot of other things. My dad would look at me and say, Joey, just get up. Get up, Joey. Get up. Well, folks, that's my message to all of us today. To all who love our country, to all of us who are dismayed by the present state of the Union. This is no time to give up. It's time to get up. Get up and fight back. Get up.
I'm going to make that my ringtone tone. Get up. Get up, Joey. I'm like, I'm not Joey. It reminded me of this.
And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
I get knocked down, I get up again. So if y'all don't know the lore there, myself and the audience has shared in our common trauma of that era in our history, which was that Biden started building some momentum, and there was a little bit of a unity among people who didn't want Trump to win and saw some of the achievements of Biden. And it was kind of like, okay, and he did State of the Union. We're like, all right, so he's definitely having his tough moments, but like, maybe this dude can do it. Maybe we won't have Trump 2.0. And then he went out and did his debate.
We finally beat Medicare.
And then this was his next morning rally, and he was like really amped up again. And I just remember being like in the hotel room after the debate, next morning, recording the show out of the hotel room and doing a segment being like, hey, so the debate was bad, but like and now so when I see clips of the debate or from this rally, I like have a visceral response because it just brings back to when I could feel the hope start to, there was like a hope inflation, and then it I don't want to use the word inflation because that had a big problem, which contributed to the results. Not his fault. Global factor handled it effective. But there was a deflation for sure of hope starting then, and then it came back up when Harris there was energy, and then so that's what I'm feeling when I see that clip. I just want to bring everyone else in who didn't live through that moment in on that experience. Then you have this.
Folks, a lot has gotten lost in all the noise with terms like DEI and being weaponized and people's basic identity turned into political football. Right now, in no small part because of the vitriol of this in our national debate, there are young people sitting alone at home as I speak, literally, behind closed doors, scrolling through social media, staring at the ceiling, literally wondering whether they've talked. You are, and I've talked to many of these young men and women, wondering whether will they ever be loved, will they ever marry, will they ever have a family?
And the answer, Jack, is no. You're a loser. You're a sucker. You're a sucker and you're a loser.
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
You're never going to fall in love. Nah, I'm kidding. That's not what he says. Obviously. It's sweet. It's very sweet. Because a lot of people are feeling that. And especially, it can be so subconsciously toxic to have your identity being used as a political football, like he said. For your identity to just be used as kind of like a culture war, fear-mongering thing. And it can detach our discourse from the human experiences people are actually happening. And his message is, I got Jill. You'll do just fine. I got this hottie. Right? Trust me. My dad would look at me, he'd say, Joey, get, I'm trying to think of like a, get it up. Like, something about like that. Yeah, okay.
Will they ever have a family? Ever truly be accepted for who they are? So my message to young people is this. Just be you. Be who you are. You are loved. You're heard. And you increasingly understand you belong. You belong, you belong, you belong.
So that's sweet. One thing that cracked me up was this is 3 days ago. 3 days ago, I said this before this speech happened. And it's so funny because it perfectly emulated the dynamic differences that will happen in his speeches in the president. There was one thing for Biden to just kind of slowly slow down, right? It's like, well, that's how, you age, you slow down. It starts getting a little whispery. It's not that sometimes he want to go, and that's the reason. The idea of America. And you're like, whoa, Joe, that was a crazy
gap. Liberty, pursuit of that.
Yeah. You'd be telling a slow story and they go, this is America. Whoa. Okay. So So I just referenced that, and it was just so funny because one of the clips that was circulating a lot was this one, and it was exactly what I was talking about.
Just be you.
Just be you.
Be who you are.
And it literally cracks out the microphone. So there was that. And then the only clips that the right wing was circulating, unfortunately, he had a couple gaffes, you know. And so that's what his return to a public speech, of course, then they just ended up clipping stuff like this.
We just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are. We're the U.S. And there's...
Yeah, so that actually was a little bit concerning, but that's what was going viral on the right wing. And then I guess maybe one other, just to show you the sweet moments, and then what's going viral on the other side of the internet.
Well, when I took office, I promised to have an administration that looked like America. I've kept my promise.
I only hired fat people. Because America's fat. That's what I'm saying. You're fat, Jack. What did he say to the guy? He was like, listen, fat. Sorry. They're just like layups, okay? I had an administration that looked like America. Oh, peace. Not really. We love.
And not just for the community, my press secretary, Kareem.
Okay, so then that one went viral because it's Kareem, not Kareem, but you know, hey. It's like, oh, but the message that they didn't contend with, MAGA, was all the other things. There were a lot of good messages in there. And a former president who, for all of his faults, Kareem, for all of his faults, you're fat, Jack. He actually expressed some basic human sympathy, not empathy, maybe even. And for the sake of keeping our content fresh, I won't use this. You think you know where the segment's going. I won't use this as a justification to go back and play that clip of him talking about when he first saw two gay guys kissing. And my dad said, it's a little weird, but we love it, or something like that. No, that's not what his dad said. His dad just said, it's love, Joey. And I love that story. It's a very older person thing to say of like, I saw two people kissing. I looked at my dad. I said, what the hell, Dad? And he said, it's okay. It's legal now. We're woke. No. That was the first time I heard woke. Stop. I can't stop myself. This is weird. And I won't go there actually, because I've done that bit before and I won't do it again. I will do it again, but not today. Instead, I'm going to show you Mike Johnson.
Do you work 18 hours a day?
More. And I have to, because President Trump works 21 hours a day.
I see you on TV all the time, always surrounded by...
You work more than 18 hours a day. Y'all took vacation for like 8 straight weeks. The Congress, he put Congress out of session for weeks and weeks. You worked 18 plus hours. I hate people say that. And all they mean is, I'm checking Twitter. I know a lot of people in my space will be like, I work 22 hours a day. And I'm like, all you mean is you have Twitter on your phone all day and you don't close the app. But I'm checking in case I ever need it. Stop it. I always joke that if I included, a lot of what I do after the show is like things that help inform stuff on the show. So I do a lot of listening to a bunch of different right-wing podcasts and liberal podcasts and all these different things because I enjoy it. And then it also helps for me to be like on the first segment of the day, the whole deep dive in the TPUSA's clash with Candace. It was really helpful to tell that story that I'd listened a lot to all these different people. And I always joke that I can tell some other people in this space like to overinflate how many hours they work. And people like Mike Johnson do too. He's like, well, I have my phone around in case anyone calls me. So I'm technically on a call. So I'm technically working all day. That I should start doing that. Anytime I listen to a political podcast, which is every hour of the day, if I'm not, I don't know, eating, which I am mostly still listening, or with them, then I work technically. I actually do fall asleep to podcasts, so they're playing while I'm asleep. So I actually work 24 hours a day. Okay, so. But I think what he might have been referring to is that the thing we referenced before of they were looking for IRS agents, he volunteered to, outside of his speakership duties, fill this job at the IRS, which is reviewing OnlyFans content to determine if it's pornographic, which is just something you have to do, you know? The issue, according to a report, is the interpretation of a restriction on the no tax on tips deduction passed as a part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that says that tips earned for prostitution or pornographic activity are not eligible. So what does that mean? Someone has to review, but the guidance is not clear. It's much like that famous Supreme Court justice statement saying that obscenity is defined by, quote, I know it when I see it. Supreme Court. I know it when I see it, so let me see it they don't quote that part, but he says, so let me see it. And that's actually why he's working so many hours so technically the IRS didn't ask him to do it, but he's just on his own time watching a bunch of OnlyFans. Just so he's ready, where if they say, is this pornographic? He can go, I got it, just to speed up the process. Also, look at this. A federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia declined to re-indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on Thursday. This case that they keep trying to bring against her and then also against James Comey, it just keeps falling flat. I mean, we can only assume because it is the joke that we thought it might be.